Another thing.
Okay. First and foremost, of course, I wish we're gonna have a physical class. But there are so many updates on the recent cases of positive COVID, and also, well, the term that I use as close contact when I did the survey in our group chat. Well, actually, there is no longer the term of close contact as defined by KKM. So whoever discovered that people who are close to them is positive, then you should have checked and test yourself and take necessary action if you found to be positive. Okay, so I urge all students, please do check your status, because I was informed that there were some of your friends who were detected positive, but you guys still have physical class up to Thursday, right? So please check so that you do not harm others. Okay, just make sure that you are in good condition, healthy, so that hoping that we you won't spread the virus and we can go back to physical class next week. Okay. As I mentioned last week, the first few weeks in our lecture, I'm not going to go through the lecture notes. Okay, so I will basically upload the lecture notes on e-learning. But during our class, there will be hands-on activity, just to make sure that you get the feeling, you have the experience of developing ataupun preparing your own research proposal, right? So last week, we only had a chance for 1 hour. You have discussed and prepared with your group mates, and I did not manage to discuss the whole of the work that you have prepared, right? Due to the time constraint. So today we're going to proceed with the next activity, where you're going to prepare your own table, right? So my intention is basically to have a hands-on activity where you're going to work with your own laptops, and then I will pick up some of you to present, and then we're going to discuss your proposal. If we are having physical class, since this is online class, so it shouldn't be an issue. You can still work on your own, and then I'll just pick some of you to present, maybe on voluntarily basis first. If there's no volunteer, then I will pick up some of you to do presentation, and then we will together look into your friend's work, where I will perhaps comments and give suggestion, or in fact, I will ask a lot of questions just to test your ability and your level of understanding in preparing the research proposal. So when I say research proposal as of today, actually we are looking into this Form 1A ataupun your titles and objective. Before we start, before I let you work on your own, okay, let me remind you, I saw some of you are using mobile phone, so that will be very problematic if you are going to work after this. So please take your time and switch to your personal computer or iPad, or desktop, okay, or laptop, so that you can work easily, right? You are not supposed to be using your mobile phone, because we are supposed to have physical class, right? So if we are having online, then you should be in your room with your computer, your personal computer, ready. Okay, I'm going to share simple example that I did. Okay. So this one, I'm not sure whether I've done this in your class or during some other classes. Remember, I teach 3 different this subject 4 times. Okay. So I have physical class with a part-time student in Kuching, and KL, SBC full-time, and also yourself. So maybe some of the example I've shown you before, I'm not quite sure, but in order to have some refreshment, to refresh your mind so that you can do and develop on your own after this. So we have done this during last week lecture, right? Where I asked you to identify the area, and the so-called working title. So this is what I meant by working title. It is based on a specific theme, but you need to be more specific lah. For example, this one, manpower shortage during post-pandemic phase, right? In order for you to carry out research, there must be issues or problem. So this issue or problem is something that you may have experienced yourself during your practical training, or you may have heard from your colleague or from your bosses, right? So that's okay for you to start the thinking. However, in preparing the academic research work, all the issues or problem must be supported by data ataupun fakta, right? Which is established ataupun reported elsewhere. So if you look at example that I have here, of course, this was impromptu when I conducted the class. I think this is with space part-time student. I come up with something like this. So I probably have seen issue posted on by Berita Harian on 20th of September, saying that kadar pengangguran meningkat from 2.4% in 2019, this is before pandemic, up to 8.7% in 2021 due to pandemic. So this is reported by Berita Harian. If you don't have this reference or citation, then it's going to be a big question mark. Who said so? How are you sure about the percentage? Where do you get the information? So by having this reference or state this reference clearly cited here in the statement, so we know that this is not something, right? So this figure, this number is reported in Berita Harian. Number two, industri binaan menghadapi masalah kekurangan tenaga kerja dan memerlukan 100,000 pekerja untuk memastikan semua projek yang sedang dilaksanakan dapat disiapkan dalam tempoh masa yang ditetapkan. So meaning to say we have many projects running at the moment. So according to CIDB report, they estimate that the industry required 100,000 workers ataupun manpower, so that all the project that currently running can be completed on time, right? And I have another reference according to Ministry of Human Resource, Kementerian Sumber Manusia. They are estimating about 200,000 foreign workers will be bring in somewhere in 2023. So this is reported in 6th of October 2022. All right, so all this report I created, you don't go and Google for this information, because I created this point or this issue and problem just to show you how should you identify ataupun write in your own issues and problem. So when I wanted to do research on manpower shortage, I should have proof that there is an issue. So this is the issue that I found on internet, tapi ni saya create lah, So based on these three reference. So during our class activity last week, I asked you to prepare at least 2, even without reference. But by today, you should have your own reference, because it's important for your own submission. Right, so now you have identified the issues and problem. So after reading this article, something pop up in your mind, which is the question, persoalan, right? So how serious ada kekurangan tenaga kerja dalam industri binaan? Because this one is just a mere report estimated about 100,000. So you want to do research to identify how much are we lacking actually, right? And persoalan nombor 2, apa strategi kontraktor untuk mengurangkan kadar kebergantungan terhadap pekerja asing? Because here you see kadar pengangguran is increasing. So kadar pengangguran mengukur kadar pengangguran rakyat Malaysia sahaja. So we can see that from this fact that ramai orang Malaysia yang tidak ada kerja, and yet kita bawa masuk 200,000 pekerja asing work in our industry. So that's why timbul persoalan yang kedua, what the contractor did to minimize the dependency on foreign workers. So when you have this question based on the issues and problem, you can transform ataupun translate this question into an objective, right? So objective, as I said, mesti ada 3 component. First is the keyword, second is your subject, and the third one is the focus. Okay. So if you look at my research objective here, the first one, mengukur kadar kekurangan pekerja dalam projek-projek pembinaan berskala besar. So besar tu maksudnya 50 million and above. That's what my definition. That is my focus. The keyword here is mengukur, and the subject is kadar kekurangan tenaga kerja. So that would be the subject. Okay. Oh, sorry. Right? And the focus would be project berskala besar, which is 50 million and above. So if you look at this research objective number 1, dia akan tally dengan my RQ number 1. So RQ number 1 look into the kadar kekurangan. So that's why you nak mengukur kadar kekurangan. So dekat sini tenaga kerja dalam industri binaan. So we have tenaga kerja dalam industri binaan, but in this objective we are more specific into project berskala besar. So if you look at RQ number 2, mesti speak, dia akan must be tally with RO number 2, whereby your RQ number 2 tadi, apa strategi contractor. So now the RO should be mengenal pasti ataupun mengenal pastilah, mungkin menganalisa ya, strategi yang diambil oleh contractor G7 dalam mengurangkan kadar kebergantungan terhadap pekerja asing. So remember your RQ dengan RO must talk to each other. So sebab tu saya rasa mungkin lebih mudah when you prepare later on, you buat the table. Ya. So sini you punya RQ1, so this is your RO1. So this is your RO2 and this is your RQ number 2. Okay, saya nak buat macam ni lah supaya mudah kita nampak ya, side by side. Kalau Q1 nak tengok strategi, O1 mesti ada perkataan strategi. If RQ2 you nak mengukur kadar, then O2 there must be a statement of mengukur the rate lah, the kadar. Okay, any question so far? If you're okay, give me some thumbs up or say something so that I know that you can follow, so that I can move to the next point. Adriana, are you raising hand for asking question, or you noted that you understand? Imran, any question? Ada eh? Alright. So I'm hoping to see this shortly, okay? On your own, okay? Saya pindah dulu kat sini supaya so RO number 2. Okay. So you're gonna prepare this, your working title, right? And then I need at least 2, at least 2 issues or problem with citation. We have passed 1 month after my online briefing. We have passed 1 week of lecture. So by today, as I remind you last week, you should have finalized the area ataupun topic of your own interest, because our submission is less than 2 weeks. And you have two titles and 4 objectives to work for. And then you have only 1 supervisor, and you have to share your supervisor with the rest of your friend. Okay. So I'm gonna let you to do this first untuk the first task, first activity, until you have your RQ dan juga RO. So the next step, nanti kita akan expand this table to look into the design. Okay. How are we going to connect your how are we going to connect your RO towards your findings and outcome for your chapter 5. So we need this chapter 3 on research methodology. Okay? So chapter 1 and 3 is still within PSM 1. So at the end of this semester, you must submit chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3. So I wanted to highlight in our next activity that it's important for you to have this in mind in terms of how are you going to collect your data, who is responsible ataupun who is the correct person or kind of information that can help you to answer your research objective. Because at the end of PSM2, we will question you go back on your RO1 dan juga RO2 yang diluluskan. So at the end of PSM2, you must be able to answer and give us that answer. Contohnya kalau tadi the question would be RO1 would be mengukur kadar kekurangan tenaga pekerja, then you must give us answer. What is the kadar? 20%, 40%, contohlah, alright? Ataupun 60-40, maksudnya setiap projek tu dia ada 60 pekerja, tapi 40 lagi dia lacking, right? And number 2, strategy. So you must give us the strategy. So that strategy tu you nak present dalam bentuk apa, that is another story. But you must tell us your findings on the strategy. You tak boleh RO1 you kadar kekurangan, RO number 2 tu strategi, tiba-tiba at the end of PSN 2 you bagi tu senarai masalah. Okay, masalah-masalah yang dihadapi oleh kontraktor dalam mendapatkan pekerja asing. So that is not your objective. Even you deliberated that one for 20 pages, there will be no mark. Because that is not part of your objective. So during PSM 2, kita akan pegang balik you punya neck ni untuk you jawab your RO1 dan juga RO2. So that's why submission on 6th of November is very important. So whatever you submitted on 6th of November, once it's approved, so that titles and objective will be with you forever until August 2023. And it will take you along lah to write your chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, and up to chapter 5, where you're going to conclude your research work. From the issues until you boleh buat conclusion. From chapter 1 up to chapter 5. Okay? So kalau tak ada soalan, saya akan, you may use your own template or you can use, the way I put it here pun boleh. Ataupun table ni saya ada bagi tak? Ada pernah bagi table ni tak dekat you all? Anyone? Ada ke tak ada?
No.
Tak dengar, Dave? Ada dapat ke tak ada dapat?
Tak dapat.
Dapat, okay.
Tak,
saya
tak dapat.
tak dapat, okay, alright, got it. So, saya akan cakap saya tukar paper je. Jalan sikit lah. Kejap Alia, kejap saya nak ni. Okay. Apa lagi lawak saya punya ni? Okay, kejap sini saya nak kata isu. Right, kalau your supervisor ada their own template, contoh saya tahu Dr. Hazrin bagi template ROT dekat student, so you can use your supervisor punya template, tak ada masalah. As long, semuanya akan leading toward the same thing. Cuma template tu dia berbeza-beza. So tak ada masalah kalau you ada your own template, ataupun from your supervisor, you boleh pakai that one. Okay, you can do something like this. Maksud saya akan bagi kejap lagi table ni. Macam ni lebih jelas lah. Maksudnya you tahu apa isunya, apa persoalan dan terus apa you punya objektif. Then you have second issues and then your question dan juga objektif. So benda ni lah, speak the same topic lah, same idea within that row. Okay. Ataupun ni lebih jelas, ataupun you nak pakai yang ini pun tak apa macam ni. Ini macam kita buat dalam kelas lah last week ya. Just your working title, list down the issues and then issue dengan RO saya nak you buat table lah supaya dia lebih mudah untuk you nampak. Ataupun you boleh pakai this one. Okay. So, saya akan share ni lagi while I'm finish briefing ni. Saya nak jawab soalan sekejap. If our statement problem in paragraph, should I make it short to bullet of point for this? Yeah, sure. Alia, ini orang yang dah siap ni. Just extract the key point dengan reference tu, you cite the reference untuk masukkan dalam table ataupun template tadi tu. Okay, sebab I know when you are preparing for submission, mungkin dah buat dalam bentuk paragraph dengan proper sentences kan. Saya cuma nak you extract the key info sajalah. So that kita nak jelas memang issue tu exist. Tu je. Right, any other question? Kenapa saya tak boleh besarkan list ni? Okay, untuk table ni nanti boleh saya bagi. Yang lain-lain ni ignore dulu lah, saya belum cerita lagi kan. So fokus kepada the first 3 column saja. Ini saja. Saya hijaukan ya. Okay, issues, question, and then your objective. So issue dekat sini must be with reference, citation. So your WH plus question mark keyword. Saya remind lagi ni. Subject plus focus. Alright, so I'm going to share this table dalam WhatsApp group lah. So you all boleh tengok. Okay, saya akan bagi masa hanya, so saya expect you pun dah buat some preparation ya. So saya akan bagi masa 15 minit. 17 minit lah sebenarnya sampai 11.45. Right? So 11.45 semua orang sepatutnya dah ready and I might call for volunteer. Ini saya kena acknowledge lah. Sometimes saya force orang yang tak nak dan tak berminat. So I think I'm wasting my time and wasting your friends' time as well. So saya might call 1 or 2 volunteers, then randomly for another 1 or 2. Okay, before kita proceed to the next one. So remember kita punya the first task ni fokus kepada table saja, the first 3 columns saja. Sekejap saya set.